Welcome to this demonstration of electronic prescribing of controlled substances. It uses two-factor authentication. The first factor will be your password for Allscripts. The second factor will typically be your token, your Imprivata phone app token, where you can either approve it on your phone and it passes through with a tap, or you can actually enter the token code that is sent to your phone. In the event your phone is not available, fingerprint reader should be available somewhere at your practice to be able to do this. Otherwise, you would be left with the print option or calling it in for class 3 or higher. So I have a patient on some generic Xanax, and I'm going to renew that to show you. So basically, I don't have any yellow in here. Even though it says send to retail, it's going to allow me to send this controlled substance, class 4 controlled substance, to retail. This does depend on if the pharmacy is set up to accept EPCS, and so the system will tell you it would be, some of these boxes will be in a pink color if you cannot perform the action. So the medication will have a slightly different status than you've seen before. This is for the electronic prescribing step that it's pending. So when I commit, it will now bring up the EPCS dialog box showing the DEA number, showing what pharmacy. Then it'll show the controlled substances if there's more than one. You want your eyes to be drawn to the far right, to the green circle with the white check. If you have multiple boxes below that, you don't want to spend the time clicking each one. You can just click the top green button, and that would select anything underneath that. Notice when I did that, it activated the first factor of authentication, my password, my network password. And then you can see in gray here, after I OK this, it's going to move on to the second factor, which is the app, the phone app Imprivata ID token. So when I click OK, this now will send an approval message to my phone or to my Apple Watch, and as the case is for me, I'm able to just tap approve, and the prescription is now changed. Instead of pending digital signature, it's in the process of creating digital signature. This is the test system, and it will not actually pass through. It will eventually give a failed status, but you will, once in the production system, this will authenticate and move on to the pharmacy. So in the event that a controlled substance prescription fails to reach the pharmacy, it will generate a task, much like regular non-controlled substances. This task will initially go to the what we call delegated task lists, managed by office staff. They really can't do much action on these other than if you have a protocol to, if they receive it and it's eligible to be called in, they could call it in or print it to then get a wet ink signature. Or if they undelegate it, then it would show up in your active task list to be worked. Now, while the task would be delegated and not be seen by the provider initially on the task list, it will be visible if you tend to go straight to your work list for action items such as retrospective refills or to go manage your labs. You will come across items here that show the digital signature failed. If the nursing staff takes care of these, this would go away. Otherwise, if you come across these, you have the choice of acting on these failures to do one of the options of either re-signing, printing, or reorder it from scratch. So if I choose to re-sign a failed EPCS signature, I will make that selection in the right-click menu, go through my alerts, commit, save, and continue, and I'm once again presented with the approval dialog box. I select the prescription, enter my password, approve the token on my mobile device, and you can see that that is now processed. If I make the choice to void and order new RX, it will automatically take me to that medication again. If I need to change it at this time, I have a lot more options to make a change before sending it again to the pharmacy, but it's otherwise set up just as it was the first time. So a little bit more flexibility than going straight to the re-sign the prescription. The third option in the right-click menu was to print controlled substance after transmit failure. If I make that choice, the commit button activates. And when I save and continue, I am given the controlled substance print dialog box. If you have set your default printer there, it will show, but it can be changed. So I hope you have found this Allscripts update regarding electronic prescribing of controlled substances helpful. You may be wondering, how am I going to be enrolled in this process? So the steps to begin this enrollment involve you knowing your password to be able to download an app onto your phone. Some people may have it as a fingerprint option rather than a password, but you'll need to be able to download something from your app store. This is the required second factor token authentication app. Remember, there are 3 authentication methods we gather, and you need to have 2 of the 3. Something you know, your network password, something you have, this app on your phone with a specific token, and something you are, being your fingerprints that we gather. So the Allscripts team will walk the provider through about a 10-minute process where we verify your identity with the driver's license, enroll 2 fingerprints of your choice as your backup second factor authentication. We enroll the Imprivata ID app, taking the doctor-specific code on your phone and enrolling that in the Imprivata TMH appliance. Then we link that account with your Allscripts account. And then we go through a grant and approve EPCS privileges process within the Allscripts application itself. And then you are up and running, ready to go with EPCS. So stay tuned for these rollouts. Don't hesitate to contact us with any questions. Hope this has been a helpful tutorial. Have a great day.